Good morning, all. Starting with our program for the day and our presentations from experts. We'll start also sharing the program shortly.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this pre-local conference of youth webinar. My name is Buitumelo Pauline Marumo, and I am the Public Relations and Communications person at Botswana Climate Change Network. I will be your moderator for today. Once again, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Enhancing Youth Leadership in Climate Action for Sustainable Development in Botswana webinar. I am honored to be your moderator for today. We have a really exciting lineup of speakers and discussions ahead of us, and we'll be focusing on critical issues in climate action and sustainable development. So this is the first two of the consultation webinars that will be happening before the first ever local conference of youth on climate change in Botswana conference, which will be happening on the 4th and 5th of October 2023 at the University of Botswana. LCOY BW 2023 is a collaborative effort between Botswana Climate Change Network, Global Shapers Community Gaborone Hub, Sustain 267, Green Habitat Botswana. And it is basically a climate change conference for youth, by youth, mo Botswana. And before we begin, before I forget, I would like to give your full support. I would like to give your full support or full permission to live tweet, post, etc. About the webinar. You may use these hashtag if you have your Twitters. You hashtag Youth Voices, hashtag LCOY Botswana 2023, or hashtag LCOY BW 2023. I will also just post this quickly on the chat. Let me quickly just jump into the program. As you can see it right in front of you. Let me run through it very, very quickly. All right. First, we'll begin our journey with a warm welcome by Ms. Pato. She will kick off the event with the opening remarks. Our first session will provide us with a comprehensive introduction to the UNFCCC. Following that, we will have a session on YOUNGO, where we'll be enlightened about the significance of YOUNGO and the LCOY. From there, we are going to jump into agriculture and food security, followed by climate finance, adaptation and resilience, mitigation, and just transition. And to make sure that all your voices are heard, we want everybody to participate. We've set aside some time for feedback and comments. This is an opportunity for everyone to share their thoughts and insights on the topics, your questions, anything that you feel is important to be raised. And throughout this webinar, we encourage active participation. Let's show our youthful energy. We encourage engagement and sharing of ideas. So for the house rules, before everything, raise your hands if you want to speak. Let's maintain some respect for each other. You are welcome also to post your thoughts on the chat as we proceed. Let's collaborate to explore effective ways in which youth leadership can drive climate action and sustainable development in Botswana. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed participants, fellow climate advocates, it is with great pleasure that I introduce our first speaker for today's webinar, Ms. Pato Kilisita. She is the founder of Sustain 267 podcast. She's a dedicated environmental enthusiast and visionary. Ms. Pato's remarkable journey has taken her on a path of empowering communities, promoting ecological balance. Through her role as Sustain 267, she's been a driving force behind initiatives that inspire eco-conscious behaviors and foster a culture of environmental stewardship. Pato, I give the floor to you.
Good morning, everyone. I don't know how my network will be if I switch on my video. Okay. I start to chop up a bit, which I suspect will be the story for today. But my name is Pato Kilisite, and mine is just to say thank you so much for being a part of the first of 3 parts of the LCOY. The rest of our speakers will go into what LCOY is, what our COY is, and what we're hoping to achieve with it. When we put out a form for volunteers, we got nearly 350 applicants. Today on the call, we've got nearly 50 young people, which shows the energy that young people have for responding to climate action. It shows their appetite. It shows what we want to do. And with the objectives of LCOY Botswana, we're looking to promote youth engagement, which we're already seeing is present. And the third one is to empower youth to participate in the UNFCCC process. This will be on the we'll be having this in October. Please follow our social media to find out on updates. We're looking forward to writing this position paper with you that will tell government what we want, that will tell private sector what we want as youth acting on climate. We're a little bit over time, so that's why I'm so short and a bit quick. Welcome to today's session. Let's show up as young people. Let's show out as young people. Let's listen so we're positioned to give full contributions. Thank you so much to all 50 of you for showing up today. Thank you, Madam MC.
Okay, it is my privilege to introduce our next distinguished speaker for today's webinar, a devoted advocate for environmental sustainability and a change catalyst. They are here to share their profound insights. This session will provide us with a comprehensive introduction of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, the UNFCCC. Chimbizani Bratonozic, Program Specialist for Environment and Climate Change and UNDP, will navigate us through this fundamental topic. Thank you so much. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Bui, and good morning, everyone. I hope you can all hear me. I won't attempt to switch on my camera just for saving bandwidth to avoid the technical glitches. But thank you very much for having me. I feel really honored. And once again, congratulations for pulling this together for the youth, by the youth indeed. I almost didn't register because the age limit was exactly that. So, but if everybody is to hold me accountable, I'll send them your way because I've had to pick an age that is not entirely correct, but that is absolutely all right. Colleagues, I have been requested to just give a brief overview of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, or the Convention, or UNFCCC as commonly known. So I'll be very, very brief because like other colleagues did mention, we are slightly behind time. So the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, is an international treaty which acknowledges the existence of anthropogenic climate change and provides the framework for climate change negotiations. The convention was adopted in 1992 during the Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro, with the treaty entering into force in 1994. And today it has nearly universal membership of about 198 countries. The countries that have ratified the convention are called parties to the convention, and they have committed to act on climate change and regularly report on their progress to deliver on the core objective, which is to prevent dangerous human interference with the climate system. Bui, I see your hand is up. I hope I'm still audible. The UNFCCC is the foundational treaty. Oh, perfect. The UNFCCC is the foundational treaty that has provided a basis for international climate negotiations since it was established. And this includes landmark agreements such as the Kyoto Protocol in 1998 and the Paris Agreement in 2015. So what is the COP? The Conference of Parties that I think we are all building towards now in Abu Dhabi, COP28. COP is the supreme decision-making body of the UNFCCC and is made up of representatives from all parties. So the 198 countries that I mentioned earlier. And the COP has met each year since 1995 to review the implementation of the convention. And each COP elaborates and builds on the decision and resolutions of previous COPs, with the Kyoto Protocol adopted at COP3 in 1997 being one of the better known agreements. And at COP 2021 in Paris, the Paris Agreement was reached and has been widely proclaimed as the historic deal and one that will inevitably lead to decarbonization. So it was really smart that the convention recognized that there was a problem, and this was remarkable for its time. You'd recall in 1994, when the UNFCCC took effect, there was less scientific evidence than there is today. And the UNFCCC was smart enough to borrow a very important line from one of the most successful multilateral environmental treaties in history, the Montreal Protocol in 1987. It bound member states to act in the interest of human safety, even in the face of scientific uncertainty. So the convention set very specific goals, have been known to be lofty, but very specific, with the ultimate objective being to stabilize greenhouse gas concentrations at levels that will prevent dangerous anthropogenic, which is human-induced interference with the climate system. It states that such a level should be achieved within a time frame sufficient to allow ecosystems to adapt naturally to climate change, to ensure that food production is not threatened, and to enable economic development to proceed in a sustainable manner. I hope I have 2 additional minutes. I'll wrap up very quickly, Ms. Bui. So what exactly does the convention plan on doing this? It puts the onus on developed countries to lead the way. The idea is that as developed countries have been the source of most of the past and current greenhouse emissions, and therefore industrialized countries are expected to do the most to cut emissions on home ground. They are called Annex 1 countries and belong to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. And this includes 12 countries with economies in transition from Central and Eastern Europe. And Annex 1 countries were expected by the year 2000 to reduce emissions to 1990 levels. Many of them have taken strong action to do so, and some have even already succeeded. So what then, how do then developing countries and less developed countries are expected to deliver on the same? So industrialized nations agreed under the convention to support climate activities in developing countries by providing financial support for action on climate change. Above and beyond any financial assistance, they have also provided to these countries. They also are supporting with technological advancement to less advanced nations so that we are able to report on progress to date. So a system of grants and loans has been set up through the convention and is managed by the Global Environment Facility. You may have heard now and then where we are saying as the UNDP, we are implementing JEF-funded projects. This is the mechanism that is supporting climate action, climate initiatives in Botswana and other countries. And as you know, Botswana is highly affected by the effects of climate change. So that's the mechanism that the government and supported by other developing agencies is using to implement initiatives that are responding to adverse effects of climate change. I'll stop here, Madam Bui, if you allow me, and allow the program to continue. Thank you very much once again for having me.
Thank you very, very much. So from the presentation that we've just had, we got to understand that climate change is caused by human activity and industrialization. We've also got to know, in a nutshell, that countries with the least contribution to these greenhouse gas emissions are basically asking developed countries to provide assistance for adaptation and response to climate change. We've also got to know about the protocols and the treaties from the UNFCCC regarding climate change response globally. And we have got to know about some of the few finance mechanisms which are in place currently. Thank you so much for your presentation and for your time being here today. I promise you will not get in trouble for joining us this morning. It brings me a great pleasure to introduce our next distinguished speaker on today's webinar. Hossam Imam is a passionate champion of youth engagement and environmental. He is joining us to shed light on the essential of, through his engagement with YOUNGO, the local conference of youth working group. Mr. Imam has been at the forefront of empowering youth voices in climate discussions. His dedication to amplifying the perspective of young individuals aligns seamlessly with the theme of this webinar. I would like to introduce you, Re Imam, for your presentation. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much for this great presentation. It's me, Hossam Imam. I am your friend from Egypt. And I am working with YOUNGO as a GCT team member, as GCT is a group of people who are coordinating the YOUNGO work and coordinate between all YOUNGO members and the YOUNGO focal points and the secretariat. I started joining YOUNGO since 2018 while I attended the COY 14 and the COP 24 in Poland, and since there I have been actively working with them, and after that I initiated my initiative, and it's called Act Sustainable Egypt, which we co-hosted the COY 17 last year in Egypt, in Sharm el-Sheikh. Just a quick introduction. Thank you all for hosting me here. I will just share my screen now. Yeah, my presentation today will be about what is YOUNGO and what is the LCOY of YOUNGO. So the YOUNGO, we will go back to the history, as our previous speaker told us, from Rio Summit also, when it declared that there is 9 sectors which includes youth and children have been recognized to work together on the climate action. After that, in 2005, it formally said that there is an international youth climate movement and these voices should be heard. After that, in Copenhagen, the secretariat member officially recognized the youth as observers for the constituency under its own, like the constituency itself approved to make the youth to be observers on the process. After that, in 2011, the constituency confirmed to formalize and confirm YOUNGO to represent the formal youth voice, the formal youth and children voice in the UNFCCC process. So this was just a start. So it started from Rio until 2011, and we still at the beginning. We just recognized we are advocating for the youth and children rights according to the climate change. So this is how the story began. So the YOUNGO constituency, what is the YOUNGO constituency? What is its mission and what is its vision? The mission of YOUNGO constituency is giving the awareness and knowledge for the youth, for the children, to fight the climate change. The climate change issue that we see it as we should work on a scientific way. So we approach to youth that everything should be harmonized. Every youth should be given the awareness and knowledge and the capacity building needed to know the problem itself. And after that, we push and we encourage youth to build collaborations and cooperation and build networks between each other. So together, it will be more doable. And after that, we are networks, we are collaborating each other. So the policy and the advocacy lobbying. So we are here, we want to be here, yes, but what we want to deliver, we want to deliver a policy change. We want to deliver advocacy for the community. We want to deliver a change internationally. So we lobbying and advocate for these policies in different ways. And this is one of the ways is youth action. We like each person, each individual, each organization are supporting this mechanism in different ways, and we will see how. Okay, so our vision is we see that the society should work together to advocate for the climate, to be in a harmony with nature and the planet, and we believe that the empowered youth should be delivering impactful and positive change locally and nationally and internationally as well. So this is how the mission and vision of YOUNGO is working. Okay, so I mentioned before there is YOUNGO is a constituency. So what is the constituencies? Back there, the UNFCCC said there is like a civil society sectors and the categories, and these civil society will be given the name of constituency, and each constituency will represent a civil society category who are working on the climate agenda. So we have here, for example, we have businesses, and they named it as bingo, and they have researchers, and they are named it as Ringo. So the researchers and businesses, they are civil society who are advocating for the researchers and businesses' rights to the climate change. And there is farmers, and there's trade unions, and there is women and gender, and the indigenous people, environmental NGOs, and local governments. So we have here the children and youth in the heart of the civil society. So who are representing the youth and children officially to the UNFCCC here is the YOUNGO constituency, and this is what we are talking about. So the YOUNGO have some some regulations and some guidelines working together. In YOUNGO, we are flat structure. There is no hierarchy. We coordinate each other, but there is no boss. We are all here with one vote, and all votes are in consensus. So if we are not agree on something, or if you are like someone who is not agree for something, we should work together. We should discuss together to be all agreeing on a specific things. And as I said, there is equal voice. Like everyone have a voice, and it is all equal. If you are from Botswana, and if you are from Egypt, and if you are from India, and if you are from UK, it's all one vote, and it should be in consensus. And our aim is to make the Children and Youth Constituency as a UN body. We should have a voting rights at the UNFCCC spaces. Yeah, so as I said before, the awareness and capacity building, this is one of the main roles, and collaboration and networking and advocate for the policy. So this is what we are doing. So according to the youth action, this is how YOUNGO looks like. The YOUNGO have many individuals and organizations who are working for youth and children rights in the climate action. And there is a working groups of YOUNGO, and I will tell you more about working groups. And there's the global coordination team, which I'm part of it. And there is the focal points of YOUNGO. So the YOUNGO, we have here all individuals and organizations together. And there is the working groups of YOUNGO and the global coordination team. This team is coordinating between individuals and working groups with focal points, and there is the focal points. So this is how the YOUNGO looks like inside. So what is the working groups is? We have two types of working groups. The first one is the thematic working group. Like in climate change, there is mitigation, adaptation, health, human rights, agriculture, and more. So these working groups are focusing on the climate action according to the thematic theme. Like as I said before, there is like working groups. There's like each working group for each topic in these. Okay, and there's operational working groups, and these operational working groups, it is focusing more into action with collaboration with these working groups. There is the operational working groups are working into action. Like we have here conference of youth, like COY and local COY. This is an operational working group, and there's like awareness working group, there's policy working group. So this is how the working groups of YOUNGO looks like. In YOUNGO, there is more than 10,000 individuals, and there is more than 1,000 organizations are part of YOUNGO. So this is how the YOUNGO looks like inside. And how can I be a YOUNGO member? It is very easy. It's just, you will go to this link, you will go to this QR codes, and you will be part of YOUNGO directly. The YOUNGO should represent all youth, so it should be easy to be part of YOUNGO. It is not like a very big application and you should be accepted or not accepted. No, you can be a member of YOUNGO directly if you register to the membership, and you will be part of the mailing list of YOUNGO. So you will have like all rights of YOUNGO. Okay, so let's talk more about the LCOYs. Like we saw what YOUNGO is doing, but what specifically the local COY is working. So the local COY is local and regional events with focus on local or regional action, empowering youth to participate in climate action and decision-making process. So the local COY is a way to empower youth to be part of the decision-making. So how we can do this? As the last presenter said, there is the COP, and we should know now what is the COP is. We have here the YOUNGO action to feed into the COP. How we can do this? Each year, YOUNGO has the COY, Conference of Youth. So the Conference of Youth, it is a conference at the same city of COP each year. So this year it will be in Dubai. Last year it was in Sharm el-Sheikh. The next year will be at the city of the COP, maybe Australia. So it is like each year it follows the COP delays. So in this conference, all youth from all over the world are going together to have the awareness, to network each other, and also to finalize the Global Youth Statement. The Global Youth Statement, it is a policy statement with youth recommendations and with youth demands according to the climate policy actions. So this is the COY, and all these demands are submitted officially to the COP presidency each year. But how can we collect these data? We know that not all of us can be there, not all of us can be accessible for travel or any other cases. So the YOUNGO invented the local version of COY. So we have here the local conference of youth in Botswana, which will give the youth here the awareness they needed, and it should make a network between each other. As we see here, there's like different partners are organizing the local COY, so there will be like a network and youth movement. And also after the LCOY in Botswana, we understand that there will be a policy demands from the youth in Botswana on a local level and international level, and these demands will be fed into the COY itself. And between the local COY and the global COY, there is a regional COY for regions. So this is the mechanism of how the local COYs and COYs are make the youth to have the ability to be a decision maker into the process. So, as we said, the local COY taking the vision of YOUNGO. So we have a capacity building, we have networking, and we have a policy building as well. All these topics can be part of the LCOY agenda. So it is how we can choose the local COY topics. It is according to first the local context of the local country and the international context of what is happening. So this is how it looks like on the topics of the local COY. So the results of the local COY is we have more people who are working on the climate action. We have more local networks, and we have your voice to be considered at the negotiations. And this is like how it looks like. It should be creative. The local COY itself, sometimes it's 1 day, 3 days, and it depends on the resources. And it is for youth, and we are welcoming also the children to be part of this action. So You heard all this. If you want to be a YOUNGO member, if you want to be part of this change, this is the link. You can be part of YOUNGO from here, and I will share it with you in the chat box as well. Thank you so much for hosting me, and thank you for working on climate in Botswana. Your friend from Egypt.
Okay. Re lebogile, re hosam, Imam. That basically means we are thankful. Thank you so much for taking your time to join us this morning and to give this really thorough explanation or presentation on what is YOUNGO and how does it connect with the UNFCCC. So just a quick summary of what he was talking about. From his presentation, we learned that YOUNGO is the official youth constituency of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. So as we go, you're connecting it to what our previous speaker was talking about. He also educated us that it is focused on youth and children's rights when it comes to climate change. And one of the most important learnings we got from this is that LCOY, or Local Conference of Youth, is like a localized version of the Conference of Youth, COY, which would normally happen at a country that is hosting the Conference of Parties, COP, right? So this localized version is where we get to collect youth voices. As we are here, I think 90 plus young people from Botswana. This is where we get to collect your voices on a local level and involve you in a process that will otherwise be centralized on your COP, YOUNGO, where not every one of us can be able to go. So it recognizes that our challenges, our needs, and some of the solutions that are available for climate change, for addressing climate change, are different. Our policies are different. The response in Botswana is different. So I hope that you have some questions for Re Imam before we can continue with the program. So we welcome all the questions. And another very important thing that he mentioned was joining. How can you be a member of this amazing group? We will share the link with you if it's not yet shared on the chat. So Renali dipotso di kakelo kana sengwe se re ka se latlhelang on this conversation. Okay.
Hi. And my question is, Mr. Imam, I've quite a great presentation, but my area of concern is to what degree do you, maybe you can give an elaboration of to what degree and what extent, since you spoke of advocacy, at what degree do you nurture and harness issues of climate change at grassroots level, maybe from your perspective or as coming from the perspective of YOUNGO? Maybe what you really do from grassroots level, from children, how do you involve them into issues of climate change at grassroots level?
Yeah, as we see now here, we have the local COY, and we encourage everyone to host any local actions, and we are in YOUNGO to support that. We are all volunteers, so it is kind of we are supporting each other for the local action. So you are here in Botswana. You are here a group of of people. We are almost 1,000 activists in Botswana now. If you are all together, I believe that the climate change scene will be in a different level if we are all working together. Yeah, so
Okay.
this is my point of view.
I think maybe I wanted to maybe get a glimpse of just a rough idea of maybe strategies of how, as YOUNGO, you've been rolling out, going into especially the young ones, trying to incorporate it into maybe the education system somehow. Maybe I just wanted to get shed light on how YOUNGO has been going on about it.
Yeah, actually, as we have like different working group, and each working group is focusing on a topic. So if you are want to empower youth according to in the way of education, so there will be a working group focusing in education, and you are also working together to on climate action specifically for education. So this is how it looks. We have like a policy actions. We have different conferences. We have different movements in different countries. So this is how it looks like.
Okay, no, thank you. You've answered me. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Reema, once again. And thank you for the question, Kutlana. Kutlana, I think we can discuss more on that when it comes to the discussion part. That's a very important question, but it's also a question we should be asking ourselves, because since YOUNGO is a collaboration, it's a network, and there are people from different countries, young people. You yourself can be YOUNGO, and then you yourself can be the one who is addressing those concerns. Yeah, because like we said before, it is a localized version of what is otherwise maybe centralized at the top. Okay,